Hello, my name is Matt Lewin. I'm here today to talk to you about my hometown of Fairplay, South Carolina, and the money issues and financial issues that it has subdued into here lately. Recently, with the amount of with the economy, even though other places the economy is starting to slowly, gradually get better, the unemployment rate's dropping. Unfortunately, in a small little areas like Fairplay, South Carolina, which is farm town basically, it isn't getting much better. The unemployment rate is still kind of low. All of the big businesses that are manufacturing plants, stuff like that, have been laying people off, have been closing, have been going overseas. A lot of businesses can't keep up going as far as the small businesses go, which is leading to a large number of unemployment out in Fairplay. Due to the fact that it has such a high unemployment rate now, it's causing a lot more families to not be able to do what they're supposed to do, be able to take care of their families, be able to support their families like they need to be, which is one major issue that is happening with our area. Unfortunately, there's been a very high amount of foreclosures on houses that people have grown up in for years is being foreclosed because the families have no jobs, no sort of income where they can bring in the money and actually be able to do good, support their families, pay their bills and everything else, which is a sad fact. With the unemployment rates being as low as they are, with jobs being as hard as they are to find, it's causing a lot more issues with foreclosures, and not a lot of people have the ability to move from one house to another. They don't have the ability to do this, do that. They don't have a lot of the family background standards that a lot of people are having, which is kind of bad because a lot of these people are people who have moved from up north or from lower in the south, from the west and stuff, have moved over here to get a fresh start and stuff like that. Don't have the family members here to help them, or their family and loved ones are no longer with us, which is a big issue because that depletes the ability to rely on somebody else, which is where churches and stuff have come in handy for those people. Unfortunately, this also brings into the fact is that with foreclosures, there's also not new homes being built. Other towns around the area have newer homes, new subdivisions, nicer housing units, stuff like that being built. Well, with the lack of jobs, the lack of unemployment, with the lack of employment options that are out in our town, being limited to only a few gas stations on only interstate and highways, to a few small mom and pop places, and to a Dollar General and a convenience store out there. There's really not many places for people to find jobs out there. You usually have to drive a good 20 minutes, 20, 30 minutes just to get to a place where there's a bigger town where you can actually find jobs better, which is causing it to be where a lot of families are not wanting to move out that way anymore. So there's not many new houses being built. The lands are being sold and subdivided and made into subdivisions and stuff like that, which is unfortunate because it's cutting down on the amount of farms that are out there. A lot of the places out there are chicken houses and dairy farms and cow farms, stuff like that, selling their cows and their chickens and everything, making a living off of that. With the lack of funding and the lack of money, and with the parents and stuff not being able to do anything, and they're giving it to their kids and their kids can't do nothing, they're just getting rid of it, selling it, getting what profits they can out of it, which is causing subdivisions being built, which is a plus side, but at the same time you're also losing the farming ability, you're losing the natural abilities that that town has, and there's no real way to prevent it from happening, which is causing a lot of issues. When you're losing the farms, you're breaking the farms up, not only are you actually losing a source of income for people, but you're also losing natural products, which is being overtaken by products that are coming from overseas, being shipped from other places. It is ruining the ability for the employment rate here to be raised and be better off. Fairplay is a small area and it is a nice area to be at. It's out in the country, but unfortunately with the unemployment rate and the stuff dropping, it also means that there's also going to be lower living standards. You're going to have standards that are being dropped. People who are used to making $80,000 a year living in a nice house with 3 bedrooms, 2 baths are having to lower their standards now. They're having to get single wide trailers or small double wide trailers to support their families, which is just lower living standings. They're not able to do as much stuff as they were able to do because of the unemployment rate dropping or getting higher, because of the jobs dropping. It's making it harder for these people to have lives, to continue on with the lives that they do have. And unfortunately, that also means that people who have trailers and stuff like that can't do the necessary work and repair that needs to be done to a house as time goes on. Wood starts to rot out, chimney starts to fall in. Small minor stuff is being put off and put off and put off because there's no finances there. It's a sad, honest truth that unless something happens to the job market and the unemployment market and everything else in this area, instead of big city is where it has to start at, but it needs to start getting gradually better where the lower country areas can get it as well. And until that happens, unfortunately, my hometown will have an issue with their finances and getting government funding and getting everything else for them. This is a little bit about what issues my hometown is going through right now. I appreciate your time. Hopefully this will help impact yours, all of your hometowns and everything, and maybe you can get an idea of how bad the economy needs to turn back around to help the smaller, low-income families that depend on the earth, which is where we were founded at. Thank you.